He's an old head.
Youngins are really starting to get on my damn nerves.
He's a purveyor of nonsense.
Yo, folks.
He's a Georgia high school coaching job influencer. His favorite Bible verse is Jesus wept. He's the man of constant sorrow, Chris Lamb.
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 15 of Sun Coaches Podcast, and today we're at the Nike Coach of the Year Clinic in Orlando, and I'm blessed to have the opportunity to talk to Coach Alema from Salt Lake City, Utah. He is the head of the All Polynesian football camp. And Coach, I just met you about 10 minutes ago, and I cannot wait to hear about what you do, how you provide for these young people and the opportunities that you have, and just tell me a little bit about yourself and what you got going on.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here on you guys' podcast. My name is Alema Weavatel. I'm originally from American Samoa. I come from a family of 17. Traditional Polynesian families, real big, so 9 boys and 8 girls, and I am number 15.
You're one of the babies.
I am one of the younger stock, no doubt. And so I played high school football in American Samoa at a school called Leone High School, and I served the LDS mission and also in the islands. Then after that, I came over and played football at Snow College in southern Utah. Got into coaching over there, and and after I graduated with my bachelor's, I decided to, get into high school coaching. And it was there I decided to develop the All Poly football camp as we know it now. This is going to be our 25th year. And the reason why I started that is, early in my educational career, I was called to the state office. And in the state of Utah, Utah is one of the most highly populated states with Polynesian people. And so I was one of 3 educators that were Polynesian. And so they invited me and another buddy of mine to go in and sit in on a meeting to address some of the concerns they have in the community. And so we went in and heard the spiel, and basically what it came down to is there was a big concern about the success rate of our students that are entering the high school level. A lot of them were not finishing. In fact, the number was 65% failure rate during that time. And a lot of it had to do with kids who were, came from families who were first generation. Parents have never been through the system, and they're just trying to figure things out themselves. And so we had a lot of issues of kids understanding what the process looked like. And because myself and Coach Mangale, the other coach who was with me, we were the only 2 educators that were Polynesian in the state at that time that I know of. They looked to us for kind of guidance and on what we could do to motivate the kids, right? So,
well, and having moved over,
yeah.
I mean, you had first-hand knowledge of what it took and what it was like, and what you went through.
Exactly. My parents, none of them finished high school. I mean, they came over. My family was one of the original Samoans who came across the ocean in the 50s. And and their English wasn't very good. They had to work very hard. And in the first generation era, a lot of the Polynesian parents, the process was go to high school, graduate, get a job, support the family. And so that was kind of the trend back then. During that time, is as you grow older, your job after high school was to get a job and contribute to the family bills and whatever that entailed. Sports weren't really a high priority. And
it's very blue collar.
Yeah,
just
very blue collar.
Take care of family.
Yeah,
which is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, family first. But obviously, a couple of decades later, this is the 90s, right? I mean, we're still struggling, and that was a big concern. And so when they approached us, I mean, the only thing I knew, hey, I'm a football coach, man. I know this for a fact. Our kids, they can play football. They play football very well. So my pitch to them was, we need to use football as the hook.
Right.
All right, let's get those guys going. Let's use the football deal as a hook to get them interested, and then I'll bring in and see. I had coached at Southern Utah after college and University of Utah as a GA, and I coached at a junior college out that way for a few years. So I had some college experience, and I worked a lot of college camps during my high school career. So I knew some people at that level. And a lot of it were the Polynesian guys that we grew up through the football profession, so to speak. And so I told them, hey, I'll reach out to some of my buddies, and I'm come in. We'll do a football camp, and we'll use that platform to encourage our kids to do better in school, and to kind of learn how to use football to advance them in life.
Right. Provide more opportunities.
Exactly.
Right.
And so we did that, right? But the interesting thing was when I came back, we had to go back a second time to kind of present what we would consider doing. And I told them, hey, I'm a football guy. That's my lane.
Right.
I know a handful of guys at this level. I know that our kids love to play football, so I wanted to use this as a way to encourage our kids to get going. Well, we ended up getting kind of turned away, from the state. They said, well, your deal's not academic enough. That was their big concern. They felt like we were focused more on football, but they didn't quite grasp the vision that I had. Hey, the football is the way we're going to send the message to the guys. Yeah.
The hook, as you said. And we do that every day with, kids that aren't from Samoa, and because you've got to find something to interest a child that's not academically interested, and make them understand, hey, baby, if you want to do this, you're going to have to do the school as well to do this.
Yeah.
And then you got them.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, your coach, that connection's vital. I mean, kids would just assume, shoot, F you off if they don't like you.
Right, yeah.
So you can find a way to connect,
build that relationship,
and encourage them. That will really, really work out for you. And so my approach was, we'll use college coaches that are Polynesian to come in, go through fundamental stuff, teach them ways to improve their game, and then send a strong academic message. And that's what we did. And it was very, very effective. And in fact, Utah was not very well. It wasn't a hotbed like a Florida or California or Texas in terms of recruiting. But right now, when you're talking recruiting athletes, Utah's now moving up the ladder in terms of a hotbed for recruiting kids. And so if you talk to a lot of the coaches who've been in the game, who've recruited out that way, they will tell you that one of the reasons why they started coming out is because of how we started our camp that promoted the Polynesian athlete.
Well, who were some of the earlier kids you had come through your camp that ended up going on to make it that people might recognize?
Well, let's see now. Well, I can tell you that the current ones, man.
It's 25 years. Is a long
25
time.
years.
And we're both old heads.
And
so
we were just focused on getting them to college. But,
right. Yeah.
So Penny Sewell with the Detroit Lions. Yeah, that dude was a 4-year All-Star for us. Puka Nakua. I mean, those are the two big names right now in our community. Also, we've had AJ Epinesa, who's with the Bills. Starting defensive end over there. Obviously, let's see, who else we can talk about that's in the league right now. Simi Fehoko is a receiver.
Who's the best you ever saw? That nobody, I mean, people might not recognize the name, but who's one of the best? Like you saw him and you're like, this kid's special.
He's playing linebacker right now for the Chicago Bears, and that's Noah Sewell. I mean, he played offense, he played defense, he dominated every year. He
Just
came
a
to the
football
camp.
player.
He's just a heck of a football player, right? And so he played at the University of Oregon, but all the brothers, all the Sewell brothers have come through. Gabe, Penne, Nephi, but Noah's the youngest one. But that dude, when he showed up to camp, man, he brought it, and he did it on offense, he did it on defense. I mean, one of his last camp there. I mean, he's a 5-star guy. I mean, he didn't need to come to the camp, because he was already. But no, man, he loved to come into the camp every year. It was like a reunion every time our kids
Right.
show up.
Well, imagine after 25 years, the relationships you've built, and it being all poly football camp.
Yeah.
They feel like it's a brotherhood. I mean, it's more like you said, family first, and coming from big families, and you have the Polynesian tie. I mean, they probably feel like, I want to be a part of this camp because these are my people. I mean, not saying that any kind of way, but you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, these are my guys. I mean,
Exactly.
These are my boys. I'm going to hang out with my guys.
So what we were finding out over the years too, right, and the word started getting out because mainly we were just kind of in that area geographically, Utah, California, just kind of those communities were coming out. Then all of a sudden we're getting dudes from Texas, we're getting guys from New York, we're getting, their Polynesian families who heard about it, whose kids play football, like the Epinesa guy. They live in Edgeworthville, Illinois, but they came out every year because, they wanted to test their kids against the other Polynesian kids, right?
Right.
It was a competition with them.
That's awesome.
And, so many relationships have developed over the years. And, we were literally averaging anywhere between 80 and 100 offers per camp. College, because our camp, the college coaches worked it.
Right.
So, Steve Sarkeesian is one of our guys that's always worked it. Jim Harbaugh used to bring his staff up from Stanford. He was always coached the quarterbacks. Robert and I, he's out this way as an OC, I think, at Syracuse. Man. There's been a whole mess of them. You know what I mean? That have come through. So we'll get anywhere between, 40 and 80 college coaches from all over the country that show up and coach these kids up.
Well, during these camps, do you guys? I'm sure you spend time with them going over other things other than just football. I mean, do you have an element where you discuss, what's next as far as maybe not necessarily financial planning, but just having a plan for, the college level and preparing themselves academically and things like that?
Yes, we do have an academic component. Prior to COVID, we used to bring them in. It was a complete session. It was indoors. We'd have breakout sessions. But then when the COVID thing hit, they eliminated the big groups like that. And so we weren't able to bring them in like that anymore. So what we did was at the beginning of each session, our academic guy would come up and hit some different phases of, the ACT, the clearinghouse, the college culture and how to prepare for that. So we'd carve out some time to make sure that we were able to send that message so kids know. And we also would have a booth with a bunch of information available, and then he sends out a link to every one of our applicants regarding some of the key things, some reminders regarding the academic calendar, what they got to be prepared for going into their junior year. And so, so we put a big emphasis on the academic part of it. You being a coach, obviously we all understand that, you can't pass the class. You're not going to be able to get on the field.
Right.
So, so we send a pretty strong message that way as
Must be pretty awesome, too, that you can help these young men. You kind of have an idea of where to put them, like where they can go play, where they can get in at, where you can send them. Like if they're still looking, you can say, hey, man, this guy's looking, and we think you can play here. And you're probably an invaluable resource for a lot of coaches that are looking, for even if whether they're Power 5, G5, or D3.
So we're basically the network where coaches they'll call me up, coach, you know, did you have anybody at the camp that fit this? You know, I mean, we're looking for interior linemen, or we're looking for linebackers. You know, obviously, when you talk about Polynesian players, you're looking a lot at the front guys. You're looking a lot at the box. You know, and so I get a lot of calls asking about those types of players, and you know, if they've come through or if we have any information. So, and then because of the camp, we also started the Polynesian Coaches Network. And this will be our 20th year in existence, and I mean we come together at the AFCA convention every year. Jimbo's part of it too. He, you know, we'll have our own professional development meetings, you know, breakout sessions and all that stuff, and just kind of, you know, network with each other and share information. You know, for the Polynesian guys, they just like to get together and, you know, reconnect with everybody, you know, so that has been very beneficial for our kids as well as a network we've created with the college coaches. And so,
Well, because culturally it's very unique.
yeah.
I mean, I was sharing with you before, man, I grew up in Augusta, Georgia, and spent my whole life here, and not just from a Polynesian standpoint, but just from a Utah standpoint.
Yeah.
It's just a totally different universe to me. And, you know, we were talking about the head coach at BYU is going to be here at this clinic, and if, you know, given the opportunity to speak to him, which, you know, it would be awesome, but getting to talk to you is even more awesome because you have more of a connection, you know, a 25-year camp going on.
Yep.
That's, you know, purely focused on Polynesian guys. And we were laughing going, yeah, if you want to recruit one of these kids from Georgia, you better explain to his mama how you do barbecue. And we understand that you cook it a little bit differently, you know, just
exactly.
things like that. I mean, I'm sure when you guys get together, you get to revisit, like,
Oh, yeah.
because it's, you know, just different.
Yeah, you know, everybody reminisces. You know, we bring in food, and you know, we just sit around and you know, talk a lot of stories about stuff what's going on, and mainly just reconnecting because a lot of our coaches, they've known each other since they were kids, young men, you know, and through community stuff. And so now, you know, Kalani, I knew Kalani when he was a player at BYU. He was a GA, then went to Eastern Arizona, then Southern Utah, and, you know, went up to University of Utah, to Oregon State, you know, and just kind of followed his career everywhere he's been. And he's always been a big supporter of us, and those guys do a great job of recruiting our kids. And I want to make sure I get this out there too, because our camp is inclusive of everyone. You know, originally it started with an emphasis on the Polynesian kids, and then but we open it up to everybody,
Right?
Everybody. So there's no, you know, doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter what race you are,
Right.
You know, it's like the luau, man. Everybody shows up.
That's right. We're feeding everybody.
Yeah, we're feeding everybody. Doesn't
if you want to
matter.
come eat, we're going to
Yeah.
feed you. Come get some football. We're going to get it to you.
But yeah, the network, the experiences that we've had with all our coaches over the years has been awesome, and we'll continue to grow and do that, you know. And so,
And now that you told me that you have retired from school teaching and you can spend more time with this, I mean, is that, and
Yeah.
you're just going, I guess you're going, as long as your health is good, you're going to continue to do it as long as you feel like doing it?
yep. Actually, so my big push right now that I have the time, is that I'm going to focus on our foundation right now. So we're one of the primary supporters for football in American Samoa. You know, so American Samoa is an island in the South Pacific that's like 72 miles in circumference. They play football over there, right? And so now I know on the mainland, no one would ever do this. But in Samoa, they're all playing with helmets that aren't certified. They're proving to everybody, hey, you don't have to certify your helmet every year.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, given the condition they're in, so there's not a lot
Right.
of, there's no funding for football.
Right.
So it's organizations like mine that try to do whatever we can to help push whatever we can out there, you know. And so
Again, providing opportunity for
Yeah.
using that as the hook
exactly.
to get these kids opportunities to.
And so we'll get a bunch of kids that come up from American Samoa to our camp. In fact, we had a high school bring their kids up. They just signed 9 of their kids to different colleges the other day, you know, and they sent it to me that, you know, in fact, the majority of the places that the kids got recruited to were from the coaches who coached them at the camp.
And that's awesome.
So the connection that they made there, that relationship that they built, and the fact that they were big, big dudes who could run. I mean,
Right.
and Coach was talking to me about the NIL stuff. He said, "Man, we're not looking for kids who are asking for NIL first. Well, the kids in the island, they're just looking for opportunity. They don't care what the NIL is. Parents say, hey, get them off the rock, get them into school, get them in education. Whatever happens after that happens, but they're just looking for that, and so they're very grateful to receive any opportunity they can to leave and get an education, play football, and have the opportunity to go back home and make their own contributions.
And what a blessing it's been for you to have provided that many opportunities. I mean, not, specifically you providing the opportunities, but you know what I'm saying. You've opened the gates and opened the doors for these kids to get them out there. I mean, that's got to be a pretty good feeling to know how many.
Yeah.
I mean, over the 25 years, there's no telling how many thousands of kids you've helped.
We averaged about, so many.
Probably never really thought about it, have you? I mean,
when I look back, and it's the numbers are astounding. In terms of kids who've come through, who've moved on to the next level, not just to Division I, but even to small colleges too. So,
well, even kids that don't make it to go play somewhere,
Exactly.
they've opened their eyes to, I need to go to college.
Yeah. And so that's the thing, right? So we have Division I, II, III, JC coaches there, prep school coaches. They're all coming out. They're looking for guys. So there's a variety, different levels that I tell everybody go where they want you. Don't get focused on if some of you guys aren't. The majority of you guys aren't going to make it to a Division I school. But you got several D2 schools here, guys who want to recruit you. So go where you want. Go where they want you most.
Well, that's awesome, Coach. I sure do appreciate you coming on today. It was very enlightening. It is awesome to know that there are people out there that are willing to help young men and get them to whatever level it is they can get to. And it was a pleasure meeting you, and I hope we get together again sometime.
Thank you very much. In closing, I just want to say if anybody's interested in contributing to the Football Island Foundation, where we provide equipment for kids in American Samoa who can't afford the means that we have up here, they can reach me at allpolysports.com.
Thank you, Coach. That's awesome. Appreciate you.
Thank you.